While anti-Semitism probably had nothing at all to do with the failure of Snow White at the box office, anti-Semitism did seem to be a problem in Melbourne, where a Jewish man went to a hairdresser and alleged that he was refused service after the hairdresser became aware that he had once served in the IDF. He went to Juniper Salon in Melbourne's southeast, and when the hairdresser inquired about his accent and found out that he was Israeli, then said he could not receive a haircut because, allegedly, she said he was a baby killer. Rebel News went and confronted the hairdresser. Here's what happened.
No, he'd ask you why you kicked someone out when you found out they were Israeli. Why did you?
They were a baby killer. Now, off. Excuse me.
Do you always ask people with ethnic accents where they come from? You kick somebody out. Do you know that's against the law to kick somebody?
It's not, actually.
The Racial Discrimination Act? Based on nationality?
Israelis aren't a race.
Nationality.
Or is it race or nationality?
So this is all alleged, but if it were found to be true, this would be a violation of the anti-discrimination law, which carries up to a $100,000 fine in Victoria. We could talk about the particular instance. My big issue, I think, is the Albanese government have created this, where if someone who served in the IDF is called, in this case allegedly, a child killer, that I think is a direct result of the way our government has demonised Israel, accused them of genocide, banned democratically elected members of the Israeli government from visiting our country, pretty much called on Israel to end the fighting in the Middle East while it's Hamas who holds hostages. Are we really surprised that people might hold these views?
This is the propaganda machine at work, and this is the result. Anybody who is Israeli is now being called a baby killer. And that's not, there's this one instance, but I see it on social media all the time. You see it. It is out there. And everyone goes, well, the pro-Palestinians would say, well, it's not Jews. It's just Zionists. It's not Jews. It's just Israeli. Well, guess what? Most of the Israeli Defense Force are Jews. Anyone who's in Israel has to serve in the army. So all of a sudden you are actually demonising an entire group of people. And while you can claim it's just about Zionists or just about Israelis, that really does not stack up. It is about Jews, unless they disown their own homeland. They accuse their own people of genocide and they buy terrorist propaganda. Then you'll be loved by the left.
The other interesting thing that, we had the Harbour Bridge protest. And there's a similar one being planned for Brisbane's Story Bridge. And I think a court ruled that they're not allowed to do it. Protesters said
Can we swap judges with Brisbane?
Well, protesters said they might ignore the court ruling and go ahead anyway. And then when journalists said, but hang on a second, Albanese has recognised the state of Palestine, or is going to, the protest organisers said that was never one of our demands. What we want is sanctions against Israel, divestment from Israeli companies. So very clearly, this is not about free Palestine.
No,
it's about punishing Israel and more specifically punishing Jews.
Yeah, and also just about, quite frankly, protesting for the sake of protesting. Again, as I've always said, Palestine is just the cause du jour. That's why you see it lumped in with all sorts of other ridiculous causes that should have no natural alignment, like Queers for Palestine. It's like, I don't think those two things really go together, guys. If you have a look at the respective policies, the same people who, Queers for Palestine are supporting the Ayatollah in Iran, who has killed thousands and thousands of gay people just for being gay. And so you just got these Looney Tunes. It's the same as the that supposed trans protest in Melbourne. They want trans people who are running around in masks picking fights with the cops. Professional protesters from Antifa and the, whatever they are these days, Resistance, the Spartacus, Socialist Alternative, you name it. I knew all these, I can't swear, but, people, when I was at uni, and I was a member of a group called Left Focus, and they thought we were right-wing sellouts. So these guys are bonkers, right? And they just hitch on any cause they can to try to get in a fight with the cops, to try and get in a fight with the fascists. We're going to fight fascism. And so they will just hitch their wagon to any march or whatever. And it's the same, like the guy who did the Sydney Bridge, he's a car carrying trot. Yeah. Like the guys, and it's crazy that there are that many people out there who support it. It shouldn't have been allowed to go on the Harbour Bridge anyway. It had to be turned bound because it became too dangerous. Someone in Brisbane has actually made the right decision. And this is the other thing with the organised, the court decision in Sydney, which no one expected. The judge just, got led by a nose. But the protest is like, so this is a victory for us. But even when the decision doesn't go their way, we're just going to do it anyway.
Correct.
Yeah.
So is it like a landmark victory in the court, or is it just you just do what you want and you don't give a rat's about the law anyway? And again, it's not, they don't want progress. They don't want, as soon as Albanese made his announcement, the first thing that happened was that all these nut jobs said, oh no, it's not good enough.
Yep, exactly.
And the government actually deliberately didn't want to be pushed into a decision this quickly because they didn't want it to look like it was a reaction to these rat bag radicals. Yep. So anyway, they do enormous harm to their own cause.